Greetings again from the underground bunker, and welcome to the fourth hour. This morning, we have got the governor of Wisconsin. I've seen this story for the last few days, and we really haven't talked about it yet. But this is Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin, defending a budget proposal. It would replace terms like mother with inseminated person in their state law. Wisconsin wants to change this in their state law. Can't have the term mother. Now it's inseminated person. This is just the change aims to make the law more inclusive, especially in cases involving artificial insemination. There's no question that this is woke. This is woke. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers, what he's doing. And I've seen this last few days. I think even Clay and Buck had talked about it on their show, didn't they? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. I think Clay had brought it up. So Tony Evers defending his decision. And this is just absolutely crazy. And so then here, Straight Arrow News reports this story absolutely being missed by the left. The left is not reporting on this at all. What else is new? I think there are a lot of things of substance that the left avoids pretty routinely. Well, this I found interesting. Hold on, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. I'm trying to eliminate more and more buttons on StreamYard so that it becomes a little bit easier for me and things flow a little bit more smoothly. This is from FoxNews.com this morning. Martina Navratilova criticizing California Governor Gavin Newsom over their state's policies regarding transgender participation in girls' sports. And she said she took a shot at Newsom. This was after a record that was broken in California last weekend, a triple jump record, and by a transgender athlete. And so Navratilova said, seems fair to me, right? Hey, Governor Newsom, this is not okay. This is not what one would call progressive. In fact, it's regressive as blank, she wrote. Yeah, this is in Minnesota. Aren't you proud? Aren't you proud in Minnesota? Once again, joining California's stance. I mean, there is something that happens in Minnesota that is, you have folks who are listeners of the Greg Belfrage show. I mean, we reach out to portions of southern Minnesota, as well as northern Iowa, parts of Nebraska. We have got at KELO, we're just situated in such a place that we've got a pretty broad reach. And we are reaching folks in all of those states. And you find folks in southern Minnesota where common sense prevails. And I have heard from a number of listeners in southern Minnesota who say, whoa, we wish we could join South Dakota. They feel more, they identify more with politics than in South Dakota and what South Dakota's values, I think, than they do with values that are coming out of Minneapolis and out of their state legislature. So Minnesota and Maine joining California's stance. Who's surprised by that? I mean, these are states that are known for these kinds of moronic moves. I mean, Minnesota, unfortunately, known for this kind of, this kind of nonsense. California, Maine, I mean, it's the same handful of states where you see these kinds of things happening time and time again. Also, Semaphore is becoming a website for me now pretty regularly that I'm visiting. They were pointed out, they were singled out at the president's press briefing here the other day. And I had heard their name before, but now they are part of my regular pattern. And so Semaphore says news outlets, including Reuters, the Associated Press, and Germany's Der Tagesspiegel, I believe. Der Tagesspiegel? I don't speak German. Forgive me if I mispronounce that. Those of you who speak German will know whether I got it correct, whether that's correct or not. Anyway, Reuters, the Associated Press, certainly known to those of us in the United States, denied access to President Trump's first cabinet meeting. And we talked about this on the show the other day, Carolyn Levitt saying they'll decide which news outlets will be allowed into the press pool. I absolutely love that. That is like one of the bright spots of the week. And what is so incredible to me right now is there are all of these great things that are going on. It's like, hey, that's a bright spot. That's a bright spot. Hey, man, we're seeing good news. We are seeing progress again on common sense values. So Carolyn Levitt said that, they were talking about which news outlets would be allowed. And apparently Reuters and the Associated Press were denied access to coverage of the cabinet meeting yesterday. I love this because the Associated Press is left. Reuters is even further left than that. TV crews from ABC and Newsmax, as well as correspondents from Axios, hardly conservative. And if you doubt that, just go to Axios.com. Take a look at the stories they're covering. They are not a conservative news outlet, not even close. However, there were some conservative news outlets. The Blaze would be an example. But Bloomberg News, also hardly conservative. NPR, these are not conservative news outlets. They were given access. So this is Levitt saying the move would allow more new media into the pool, as well as outlets that have long been denied the privilege to partake in this experience. I just love this. Seriously, and it's why I keep coming back to this story. But this is a big story this morning. This is at Semaphore. Reuters and the Associated Press barred from the first cabinet meeting. Oh, and I just find that absolutely delightful. Okay, this was Pam Bondi, who is the Attorney General. I want to increase the size of this a bit. She has directed the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division to dismiss lawsuits around the country regarding the hiring of firefighters and police officers. This was the doing of the Biden administration. And now you have Attorney General Pam Bondi saying that these police officers and firefighters had been unjustly targeted. And actually the departments had been, because they used standard aptitude tests to screen candidates. And the DOJ is saying now, despite no evidence of intentional discrimination, only statistical disparities. And that was the thing about the Biden administration. And you heard that, and that was coming from Joe Biden. And you just saw his administration, they were worried about these statistical disparities. We need to have, a certain percentage need to be Black, need to be Hispanic, need to be, whatever. Those were the standards, rather than saying, we're looking for people who are going to be great police officers. We're looking for people who are going to be great firefighters. That's what we're looking for. So there's more on that story at Post Millennial if you need any additional details. But when you're hiring people, what are you looking for? You're looking for the best and you're looking for the brightest. That's what you want to find. You want to find people who are going to be outstanding in that line of work. That is what you're looking for. You don't want to discriminate against people if if one of the brightest and the most outstanding happens to be Hispanic or happens to be a woman. You don't want to discriminate against them for that. You want to reward them, but you're looking for the best and the brightest. And the Biden administration just was nowhere on the common sense front. So it's nice to see the Trump administration changing course and reversing course on the path that the Biden administration, man, they were just barreling down that path headlong. Also, you've got a man in Indiana charged now after threatening to murder Elon Musk and parade his corpse through the streets. He did this on social media posts. Yeah, because that's where you find all kinds of bravery on social media. So this 28-year-old guy arrested after posting multiple death threats going after Elon Musk. And, and this just goes on. You're broken the law. You're on the hit list. You're robbing the American people. We will gut you and parade your corpse through the streets. That is beyond even, okay, you might disagree, so on. You have a reaction. That's just absurdity. Bordering on, I begin to question whether someone is in command of their faculties when they react to things in such a way. And again, it's not coming from Elon Musk. Everything Elon Musk is doing has been with the blessing of the president, So Donald Trump is the boss. And you get some of these folks, man, they are so fixated on Elon Musk. And it's incredible how fixated the left is on Elon Musk. Also, Senator John Thune is in a story at the Hill this morning. Senate Republicans want some major changes to the budget bill, and Senator Thune saying it's complicated. It's hard. Nothing about this is going to be easy. There are some things that we need to work with the House package to expand upon. I'm curious as to what in particular the Senate wants. The president has asked, and we've talked about this, for one big, beautiful bill, is the way President Trump put it. And so the Senate, that's what the Senate wants. They want one big, beautiful bill. And the House really has trouble getting there. And so the vote of the House this week now puts the onus back on Senate Republicans. They have to try to insert some of their top priorities into one big package. They want to make the Trump tax cuts permanent. Thune and other top Republicans laid that out as their red line in negotiations. So they've got to make the tax cuts permanent. I think that's going to be good news for a lot of them, not only South Dakotans, but a lot of Americans. Interesting story. So a lot of different reaction you'll find that one at the Hill. And there was one other story that just kind of grabbed my attention this morning regarding, this is from Breitbart this morning. A Ukrainian news publisher is claiming to have released the full text of the deal between President Vladimir Zelensky and the United States that they will be signing coming up tomorrow. Ukraine initially had demanded full security guarantees. And what it's showing here is, and this is coming from a Ukrainian newspaper, they're saying they published the full text of the deal. And the document proclaims the desire of the American people to invest alongside Ukraine in a free, sovereign, and secure Ukraine. And furthermore, that the government of the United States supports Ukraine's efforts to obtain security guarantees needed to establish lasting peace. So whether or not that's the case, we'll find out. Again, that deal is set to be signed tomorrow. Zelensky is coming to the White House tomorrow to sign that deal. And that has been a big story because initially you had Vladimir Zelensky saying, nope, he wouldn't sign that deal. He's not going to say. He was playing the tough guy. He's out there playing the tough guy. No, not going to sign this deal. And, how it's lacking. And then a couple of days later, suddenly he's signing the deal. And I'm like, what happened? That was a pretty quick, about face from immediately, from not signing it to suddenly they're signing it. So that will likely be a big story as the week goes on. Hang on, I meant to share this email with you yesterday. This is Darren who had sent me an email regarding the president and the Department of Government Efficiency, right? And this is Darren. Darren says, when I think about everything that Trump and Doge have done in the last month, I can't help but think about the movie Dave. You ever seen the movie Dave? It's a good one. I've always enjoyed that. And he goes on to say, in the movie Dave, Dave replaced a brain dead president and then also brought in an outsider to go over the books to change where the money is spent. Quite the comparison. Trump replaced a brain dead president and brought in Elon to go over the books. That was such a great email. It just absolutely tickled my funny bone when I got it yesterday. So I just absolutely had to share that with you. All right. Thanks for being a part of my gallery of champions. You have made it to the end of the video today. Please hit the like button before you depart. I will see you again tomorrow, my friends. So long until then. Take care. Have a great Thursday.